Hey everyone, a good Erev Shabbos to our Boca Jewish Center community and far beyond. Our Parshas Kisavo this week begins by presenting the mitzvah of Bikurim, the obligation, the chiyuv, which requires a farmer to bring the first fruits of his orchard that ripen to the Beis HaMikdash, to the temple in Yerushalayim, where he has to give the fruit to the Kohen and make a special declaration acknowledging that Hashem has given us the special gift of Eretz Yisrael. Higadeti ayom Hashem Elokecha kivosi el haaretz asher nishpa Hashem la'avoseinu lo ses lanu. Now the Mishnayos in Maseches Bikurim describe the unusual fanfare which accompanied the procession of people making their way to Yerushalayim with their Bikurim. The farmers were given special honor, covered as various groups of dignitaries and many other types of people. They made a point of coming to greet them as they entered into the holy city of Yerushalayim. While all of the artisans in the city, they would literally stop their work when the procession passed by in order to extend a warm welcome. As the Mishnah in Bikurim says, V'chol balei omaniyos shebiyushalayim omdim lifnehem v'sho'olin b'shleimam achenu anshe hamakom aploni bosem l'shalom. Now, there are many who have pointed out that this special greeting to the farmers was an expression of the immense value that is placed on each and every mitzvah that a person does, that a person performs. If you think about it, these dignitaries and artisans of Yerushalayim who stopped what they were doing did so in order to show respect to simple farmers who did nothing other than designate a small amount of their crop as bikurim and then bring them to Yerushalayim. These were not learned scholars, they were not Talmidei Chachamim, they weren't distinguished leadership figures of any sort or wealthy philanthropists making a generous contribution to the Beis HaMikdash. They did something fairly simple and rather unexceptional, but this is precisely why they were given such honor and distinction with so much fanfare. You see, this was specifically done to show them and to show all of us that even a seemingly simple mitzvah act is so very precious and is so incredibly valued that even a small act of goodness and mitzvah fulfillment is worthy of respect and honor. It is worthy of fanfare and it is worthy of great celebration. In the footsteps of the Maggid, Rabbi Pesach Kron Shlita writes a story about a child who grew up years ago in Yerushalayim. He was from a very poor family. One Shabbos day, he was out walking through Shar Yafo, the Jaffa Gate, on his way to the Kotel to daven, when he happened to notice a gold coin that was laying in the middle of the street. So on the one hand, he knew he couldn't pick it up as the laws of Muktzah forbade him from handling money on Shabbos. But on the other hand, he knew that the coin could be used to feed his hungry family for 2 weeks, if not longer. So he decided that what he would do is he would just place his foot on top of the coin until after Shabbos would end, and then he would pick it up, he would take it, and he would use it. Now, needless to say, this was an incredibly amazing feat for a child of a young age. After standing there for over an hour, a non-Jewish hooligan boy noticed him, ran over to him and questioned him as to why he was standing there like a statue. Like, what are you doing? Says the bully insisted on hearing an answer. The Jewish child, so he began to explain why he was standing there and what he was doing. So after hearing that there was something precious under the boy's foot, so this hooligan boy immediately pushed him aside, grabs the coin, and runs away. He was so despondent and disappointed. The boy goes back to his shul where he would usually help out, setting up the tables for Shalashudas. Now the Rav, who was Rabbi Nochem Tversky, who was known as the Chernobyl Rebbe, so he noticed that this sweet boy was not his usual helpful self. He was sad looking. He asked him, what was the problem? What seemed to be the matter? So the child told his Rav the entire story, and the Rav was listening very intently to every single word. And this boy was very emotional. And after hearing the story, the Rav told him that after Shabbos, he should come over to his house. He wants to have a conversation with him. So later that night, sitting in the rabbi's house in the rabbi's study, the Rav, he reached into his drawer. He took out an identical looking coin to the one that the boy had placed his foot on just hours earlier. And he said to the boy, you see this coin? This coin, it's all yours. But I'll tenai, but on one condition. You can have it on condition that you will give me the eternal schar, the eternal reward that you will receive for what you did this afternoon, the fact that you had your foot on this coin, the fact that you cared for Shabbos, the fact that you were willing to wait there to be able to pick up the coin, not in that moment, but to pick up the coin after Shabbos, incredible reward, eternal schar. I'll trade you. You get this coin and I'll take the schar. Now, after hearing this offer and after thinking over for no more than a few seconds, understanding the worth of the mitzvah that he had just done, so he shook his head and he refused the rabbi's offer. He said, if that's what the mitzvah is worth, then dear Rabbi, so this mitzvah, it's not for sale. The rabbi smiled, he bent over to the boy and he kissed him on his forehead. With tremendous chokhmah, with great wisdom, the Rav taught this boy the value of a mitzvah, a lesson that stayed with him for many, many, many years and inspired him all along the way. Dear friends, let's never underestimate the enormous value of every mitzvah that we do. Let's draw inspiration from how the Anshe Yerushalayim celebrated the farmers' Bikurim. And let's use these holy days of Chodesh Elul in preparation for the Yemei Din, the days of judgment that are fast approaching, to redouble our efforts and our deep and unending, everlasting appreciation for Shmiras HaMitzvos and our Avodas Hashem. From my family to yours, we wish you all a blessed and a peaceful Shabbos Kodesh.